Hi, we are the Hicks family. Welcome to an episode of We Are Exhausted. We are the church. When we were asked to do this devotion, I asked Jared, what do you want to talk about? And he said, we are exhausted. And I thought he was joking at first, but I realized it's so true. We have a 10-month-old who's currently sleeping. It's the end of the pandemic, and we are over 1,000 miles away from most of our friends and family. So I looked up, what does the Bible have to say about being exhausted? And I came across Psalm 131. O Lord, my heart is not lifted up. My eyes are not raised too high. I do not occupy myself with things too great and too marvelous for me. But I have calmed and quieted my soul, like a weaned child with its mother. Like a weaned child is my soul within me. O Israel, hope in the Lord from this time forth and forevermore.
We realize that, like this verse, when we get physically, mentally, and emotionally exhausted, we often lower our eyes away from God and focus on our daily grinds. This is a trap that we all fall into, and it's illustrated in the Bible. In Exodus, the Israelites are exhausted from labor and enslavement, and it took God to show them a new path forward. But when things get hard and we get more tired, it is easy to slip back into our old routines of lowering our eyes and focusing on something other than God. We typically find that prayer, fasting, giving, serving, and fellowship are great ways to grow closer to God. But if we lose our original purpose and we become focused on our daily lives constantly, that changes. In Matthew 6:7, Jesus warns not to pray in vain repetition. The prayer loses its purpose. When praying out loud, we can begin focusing on how the people around us hear us rather than how God hears us. And then in Matthew 6:16 through 18, Jesus warns about fasting, and in Mark 12:41 through 44, about giving in much the same way he warned about prayer. We realized that we had similar routines, not just spiritually, but in our day-to-day lives with Bo. When he was a newborn, his dishes were hand washed and sanitized after every use, and we did this until he was 6 months old. We realized how ridiculous this repetition was, and this routine was when he started standing up while holding our hands. He was clearly big enough, healthy enough, strong enough to be able to handle that. And we begin doing this as individuals and as a congregation, spiritually. The hard work with Bo lowers our eyes sometimes, but that hard work and all of the joy that he brings reminds us to pray, and it refocuses us on God's gifts and glory. And so as a church, we do the same thing when we bring our focus back. The prayer, the fasting, the giving, the serving, and the fellowship, even though they're hard and easy to neglect, by putting our attention there again, we can see God's gifts and glory all around us, and we realize that we can actually rest in the Lord.
So as we've kind of gone through the new parent stage of being completely exhausted, it's also helping us to realize that we get to see life through new eyes again, which has been such a blessing. So we just wanted to say, have a wonderful day, read a psalm, wash your hands, and see you guys later.
Thank you. God bless you.